Welcome to everyone. Thank you very much for joining us here, right here in Benoni, Formula K, for the Rotax Max South African National Karting Championship, round number 2, and we're in for a great treat. Brilliant action to come. Lots of karters that are ready to take the checkered flag, and we'll see how it all heats up as the day continues.
And how did it go with your timing here?
It was very good. In the beginning, I was chasing Caleb, and then we swapped, and then I went, and then I just got a quick time because the track was really, really good.
And so what are your plans for once the big races start? What?
Just not to get a jump start and get in front and pull away.
And how did it go on the track today?
It went good. I had a good start. I got a 10-2, and yeah.
And so who's going to give you a bit of opposition or a bit of trouble on the track today? Who are you going to look out for?
Joachim and Wadley.
What are they going to do? Tell me what you're
I
going to do.
don't know.
And it's just, what do you think of this particular track?
This track's very nice, and I think it's going to be a popular track.
What's your plan for today's racing?
To focus on myself and hopefully pull away.
And what other drivers are going to give you a bit of a run for your money?
Rian Bishop and Kay Gordondale.
And have you driven this track before?
Yeah, quite a few times.
Massive field. I love to see a massive field, Steve. It is round 2 of the South African Rotax Max Challenge, descending on the shores of Benoni if you can find water. Turn 1, fast approaching for the Minimax karters. Let's see if they come out clean.
Looks like Ordendal, without started in second, now going up into first place with a Praga kart. Proudly got the Praga signature on the front, running away ahead of Boshoff. Boshoff really having to try and work out how to get around, but getting a little bit of pressure, and that looks like the Oliveira that's lying in third place, really putting the pressure on now as they battle their way around.
Caleb Ordendal immediately signaling for them to concentrate on the long game. It is 8 laps. We've got plenty of time to race it out towards the end. Let's use my pace because clearly I have it and you don't.
It's amazing how much discussion goes in during a race, and take a look. It looks like Ordendal goes out a little bit wide, trying to keep it together. And there we go, looking up the inside, you can see Boshoff just really putting on the pressure. So Ordendal leading out the pack, trying to keep it all together. Boshoff looking any which way to go, and you can see every time Ordendal running wider and wider, just getting a bit too close to the edge of the curve every single time.
Yeah, it seems like he called his own pace a bit too early there because it doesn't seem to have the pace he suggested he has, even though he had a good start. Rian Boshoff and De Oliveira are very, very close in there, which also naturally would then put Haystack and Swart in the battle as well as they constantly, bit of a battle side by side. Caleb Ordendal is just not fighting. I'm going to lead this. I'm captain of this ship. And I wonder how long his insistence on that is going to pay off, because a lot of battling is going to materialize for. Very smooth move there from Boshoff, but does he go wide? Is he able to keep it? De Oliveira has some answers. Awesome questions. De Oliveira himself almost lost out there. Can you see the result of Caleb Ordendal's insisting to lead this?
Now Oliveira up into second place, now getting ahead of Boshoff as they battle their way around. Boshoff doing everything he can, looking left and right, trying to figure out how to get to pass. Looks up on the inside, might have just changed out the position, and looks like De Oliveira dropping a little bit further down. Ordendal now having to try and work incredibly hard back up. Haystack and Swartz also getting very close to one another. So this is turning into a bit of a battle as they work their way around. But Ordendal up in front, pulling away. Oliveira in second place, having a bit of a rough time at this point. Sorry, that's Oliveira in third place. Boshoff in second place. So Boshoff now commanding the train, going after Ordendal.
Yeah, De Oliveira lost a whole lot of paces as compared to where he was initially, so he's not really in the conversation as yet, but not completely out for a top 3 battle there. Caleb Ordendal still in the lead. Probably his assumption would be, as he looks over his shoulder, that he's got a lot of pace, but the actual fact is he fought some of the battles that opened the space up for him.
And you can see Swartz also starting to put the pressure on Haystack now as well, going out a bit wide, got the drive, maybe looking to go on the outside, trying to line up just in case, and decides rather to get back into the train and get pulled along. But you can see Swartz really battling to try and find where's a gap to get past Haystack at this point. Gets right onto the back bumper, closing that gap. And if we go back up to second and third place, that's Boshoff and Oliveira starting to open up a little bit of fresh air between the two. But the battle for fourth and fifth really starting to heat up. And right behind them, we've got Wadley and Lennox that are really charging right behind. They're looking to get involved in the mix as well.
Yep, that train is forming again. We're getting a scenario of what we saw in lap 1 and 2, where we've got the top 6 possibly in contention for the same position. Caleb Odendaal might lose out here for to first place rather. Rian Boshoff asking questions of his leadership right on his exhaust there. Rian Boshoff is ready to make a move and pounce. Caleb Odendaal is panicking, or at least it's uneasy.
The Praga driver having to deal with CRG right behind him at this point. Boshoff just really putting on the pressure and battling their way through. Oliveira going and falling out of the train ever so slightly. Haystack and Swart still duking it out between each other, but they've lost out significant amount of time as they try and battle their way through. But you can see Haystack drop down behind Swartz, now having to just get into that train and try to pull himself along. Boshoff putting the pressure on, looks up at the inside, who's going to be later on the brakes, and it looks like Boshoff just managing to eke ahead of Odendaal. Odendaal has to try and figure out how is he going to do this, because right behind him, and that's it, he managed to figure it by, pushes out Boshoff. Boshoff now getting pushed out wide, and it looks like Oliveira is sick and tired of being behind him.
I'm tired of your soapy. It's my turn to have my name amongst the big boys. Let's see if he's able to. Oh, gee, made a mistake there. That is Oliveira. Had a really good run in that tight section, but Caleb Odendaal came back to lead so quickly. This is very confusing to see the amount of position changes that happened. I'm trying to gauge where the disadvantages and the advantages for Caleb Odendaal, and it looks like it's in the tighter sections. Boshoff there got a huge jump on him and got right back on his exhaust. Let's see if he's able to get on the inside. No, he does not. This is as close as it can get. Doesn't get any better than this.
And if you take a look, Swartz now getting right onto the back of Oliveira. Oliveira now having to try and figure out how on earth to go and shake off Swartz. Odendaal gets sucked back into the train though. Oliveira looking left and right. Boshoff now starting to check out a little bit of touching going on between Oliveira and a little bit of contact as the three battle out. That's Oliveira, Swartz, and
no. How the mighty have
Odendaal.
fallen. Caleb Odendaal up in arms with an Italian gesture there. What is it going on? How did I lose my position? How did I fall all the way back to? Is that fourth or fifth place that he's in, Steve?
he has
Yeah,
dropped
back to
down to
fourth.
fourth and
Yep.
getting sucked into fifth place, and that is
Oh no.
Haystack, who's right behind, chasing him down, and this is where it gets a little bit difficult as they work their way around. Odendaal definitely in a bit of a combat zone, doesn't want to be around here. Boshoff though, pulling away. No. And Oliveira now trying to also get ahead and battle his way around. Bit of contact, and you can see how hard these drivers are really pushing the carts. And Ken Swartz really not hanging on for dear life here. He is just doing everything he can and trying to do it as calmly as possible. Remember I mentioned the duck? Calm on the surface.
Come on the surface, paddle hard as you want beneath. Well, I must say we've seen a lot more paddling than calm, especially where the rest of the someone went off. It looks, I see a car beached there. We'll find out a bit later who that is. But oh my word, you cannot call who is going to finish in the 4th, 5th, and 6th positions because everyone is in on it. Wadley's there, Lennox is there, Swartz is there, Mingay potentially could be there. Someone going down the inside. Bit of a love tap. Who loses out? That looks like Haystack lost out. And who is... Oh, my word. Oh, what a mess. Just as I was saying.
That was Wadley who took a massive dive and unfortunately didn't work out. So Jordan taking a deep breath and unfortunately not going to be a happy camper as they're trying to get the carts up and going. But that's it. you can make a do or die maneuver, but when that's so close, if you're going down, you're taking someone with you, and
Yep.
that is how it works.
Yeah, do or die, and if it's close, highly likely it's going to be a die. Leon Boshoff in the lead, Oliveira in second place. I think it's Caleb Ordendale managing to maximize on the opportunity because of the Azerbaijan. Wow, Caleb Ordendale just wants to make sure his name is in that top three. Suppose it's only fitting given that he is third place in the championship, the man from Gauteng in the Praga Kart. Wow, Minimax. This, you know what, we're not done with the entire field of Rotax Max carts, but this may be my pick of the day for the battles.
Well, just taking a look at all the categories that have gone out so far. Fantastic racing right down, and
Yep.
you can't call it. And you can just see Oliveira taking a look over his shoulder, seeing Ordendal right there and deciding he needs to try and pull away. Boshoff at the moment is, well, he's got his passport and he's running away to take the checkered flag.
Our top three there, kind of reflective of what we have in the championship as well. Vian Boshoff in first, Joaquin de Oliveira in second, Caleb Ordendal in third, Ken Swartz in fourth place, Georgia Lennox had a name above with the boys there in fifth, and sixth place, Berlin Robinson, seventh place, Eric Haystack, Amani Kinua in eighth place, ninth place goes to Chaden Tromp, and Dylan Watkins wraps up the top 10.
How did the race go?
It was really good. The start was just a bit bad, and then I went to second, and then yeah, I won the race.
And who was giving you a bit of a race for your money there?
Probably Joaquin Oliveira and Caleb Urendal.
So how did you hold on to the lead? Were you maintaining the corners? Were you hitting the straight?
So I pretty much had a gap when I was in front, and then I just drove consistently.
So what's your battle plan for the second heat?
Get a really good start, get into the front and pull away.
Run through the race with us. How come you didn't hit the first spot? What happened?
It was a really tough race. We had a rough start, but I managed to pull it together and finish second.
What is your plan for the next race?
I hope that I can get in front and pull away.
And then tell me about this track. Are you used to it? Have you raced on it before?
Yep, I've raced this track around 4 times. It's a very interesting track. I like it a lot, and yeah.
A lot of hungry young karters really likes of William Boshoff. Caleb Ordendal, a man who I thought was racing in Micromax. Fast enough to be in 2 heats. Let's see. Going down into turn 1. Do they keep it neat and tidy? Caleb Ordendal doing well to maintain his position ahead of that front 3 or 4. And immediately the mind games begin. Someone pokes their hand out their cart and says, let's do this or let's do that. I honestly think that is what in Formula 1 would be called an undercut. Get to them early, hey? And already, Caleb Ordendal has dropped to second, lost out on the lead. He was trying to establish by saying, I'm the leader of this race. Clearly not the case. William Boshoff has something to say about that. Or maybe 2 somethings, because if you look at the gap between them, 2 kart lengths already coming in between William Boshoff and Caleb Ordendal. Oh, how quickly it changes. Let's have a look and see how Caleb Ordendal is able to answer to having lost the lead already. Joaquin de Oliveira also in the running there, but he's still got a bit to worry about behind him. There's quite a few young karters ready to take advantage. Swartz, Leonards gaining the ascendancy there. Wadley, Haystack also was a feature in those mid-pack battles. There's a lot of karting to happen over the next 6 or so laps.
Definitely everyone trying their absolute best at the moment to just try and work out where they are in the standings and how they can push themselves a little bit more forward. You know, Nartos having a great bit of fun with Swartz as they're trying to pull each other along to get up through the grid. But Boshoff currently opening up that gap. We saw it in the previous race. He's trying to replicate it once again. Ordendal just doing everything he can to just grab onto whatever little slipstream possible. But the great, amazing dice going on here. And that's Leonidas and Swartz, who are just literally nose to tail continuously.
Nose to tail, helmet to helmet, livery to livery. They are paternal twins. Look exactly the same in the parallel chassis there. Clearly studying the same set of notes. The racing line is hard to tell apart. Let's see who of the parallel stable will be able to make the best of Heat 2.
Definitely no team orders coming there as they are fighting tooth and nail right up the inside.
Whoa! Oh my goodness. I don't know who went over who, but that was a literal overtake.
I think Swartz was trying to get that, but unfortunately it looks like Wadley was
Caught in the crossfire.
he was acceptable casualties at this point.
Oh wow. Oh, what a bummer for Wadley. But we might potentially get a red flag if they're unable to move these carters. If the marshals aren't able to get the carters out the way and get them up and running with them, it may be a red flag because of the positioning of the accident. Wadley is in a compromised position. Oh, Wadley up and going. He's fine. Let's see if Swartz and Leonards are able to do anything. They seem to be fine.
All right, well, let's see if Odendaal will have another crack. Will Olivier go and get a better start and move up through the grid as they head down to our main straight for restart of heat number 2 of our Minimax right here at the SA Rotax National Karting round number 2. And it looks like Odendaal has a much better start this time round. Boshoff having to go fall right behind into second place and get pulled along as they make their way around turn 2, heading to turn 3.
Yep, a couple of carters going wide there, but every duck is in the row at the moment. Caleb Odendaal and a number of the carters probably learned the lesson from that accident previously, just not to make any dodgy moves around turn 1 and 2. It can get sticky very, very quickly. And Boshoff already making his intentions known. Defending from Swartz, I would say, making sure Swartz doesn't gain the ascendancy because they're still quite close together, so your second place isn't necessarily guaranteed when you're still in the train. Things will open up a little bit more. You'll take a little bit of a relaxed line as their pace begins to show. But what I do know is Boshoff has more pace than Odendaal, that's for sure.
But Olivier is also going and pressing onto the back now. Let's see how this is going to work. Swartz trying to shake off what happened, seems to be unaffected at this point and is really putting the pressure onto the back of Olivier as quick as possible. And Wadley also trying to get back on song as well. So this is turning into a little bit of a race, and you can be sure that Odendaal is trying to do everything possible and hoping that Boshoff is going to get sucked back into the train so he can start working on pulling away instead of having to constantly defend the inside line.
Uh-oh, speaking of defending, Boshoff may have better defending to do, with the Oliveira right on his exhaust there. And Boshoff always, oh, nicely done, always ready for an opportunity to take advantage. Let's see if the Oliveira makes a stick as well. Odendaal losing out and getting a bit of gravel too. Oh, that is going to be painful. Boshoff now has clean air ahead of him, and he's going to show that pace that I initially suggested he's always had. He's always been able to lead and open up a gap against the carters behind him, and now he has a bit less to worry about. The Oliveira in second and Swartz in third.
And you can see Odendaal now having to try and work hard. He's got Haystack right behind him, pressuring, trying to find that little bit of a gap, saying, hey, bud, you fell off the circuit. Let me go and assist you with losing more places.
Hey, if we can call it assistance. Caleb already has a couple of answers. The typical reaction of a champion. There he is going around the outside. Does he? Oh, couldn't make a stick. It was too far back there.
And you got Travis McGay, who's having a great time trying to look left and right, looking for a way to get past. Odendaal putting the pressure on, trying to get around, but definitely Haystack now starting to pull away. Wadley having a problem here, having to go very defensive to hold back Travis, who is hunting him down left and right at this point.
And literally at the left and right is where he has to be defensive as the carters complete this left-hander. Let's see if, okay, the gap has opened up a bit. Wadley does have a bit of breathing room that he can enjoy. Something seems to have gone his way in that couple of corners. And he can thank his lucky stars. Caleb Ordendale with Swartz right in front of him. He's got his exhaust fumes. Caleb loves that outside move. He's mastered it. I feel like every time he comes to this track, that's the move he practices most because he executes it the most consistently out of a lot of the races that we've seen.
Just trying to go on the outside, make his way through. Got past Swartz. Now has his eyes firmly set on Oliveira. But Swartz is not letting go. Swartz is hanging on to the back of him. Wants to retake that position.
Yeah.
Oliveira also has to be very cautious now. Can't go and take a deep breath as he has got... He's got Ordendale chasing him down and he's dragging Swartz in the process. So he's pulling Swartz along the whole way through. Wadley still having to go very defensive, trying to hold Travis at bay, and Travis is just not making an easy run for him.
Yeah, Minge is not going to let him get away with that, absolutely. But you can see this is, I guess, Swartz needed a sort of catalyst to wake that pace that he had early on in the race back up, because now if you look, he's right on Caleb Ordendale's bumper, and a couple of corners ago it seemed like Caleb Ordendale was slower than Swartz, you know, so Swartz kind of, I don't know, needed a bit of Epsom salt, you know, something to give him a bit of a wake-up call, and it seems like he's got it going for him.
And as they do that, they slowly pulling in Oliveira. So we're going to have to see Oliveira has to try and keep up the pace. He's starting to get sucked back into the train, and he really doesn't want that to happen because he's got two very, very hungry riders that are wanting that spot right behind him.
Oh my goodness, but there's such a gap between Boshoff and all the other karters. He really, as you said, perfect analogy, he's checked out. He's in a different race. He's already in Heat 3 at the moment as far as things stand, because it is only 1.5 laps left behind, or left of the race rather. So he's definitely going to take a more relaxed stance as we close up the race. But yeah, Oliveira, Ordendale and Swartz have served us up a whole lot of action. It's been really not the race we anticipated, of course, with the accident, but plenty of racing in between nonetheless.
Absolutely, and we just got to keep an eye on this. You can see Ordendale pushing as hard as he can, gets a little bit of a slide as he's just trying to keep it all together.
William Boshoff, well done to you. Oliveira in second, Caleb Ordendale in third, Ken Swartz in fourth, Eric Haystack in fifth, Jordan Wadley in sixth, and Travis Minge in seventh there. Joshua Smith in eighth, Berlin Robinson in ninth place, and Sabelo Ntuli wrapping up the top 10.
How'd it go?
It was really good. The track was very grippy and it was very close racing.
And, so he was giving you pressure there in the end.
Caleb Ordendale and Joaquin Oliveira.
And how was it? Did they try and get past you? Tell us some more.
So in the start, Caleb was in front of me, and then I just went for overtake, and then Joaquin overtook Caleb, and then Joaquin came third.
Okay, so you got one more heat.
Caleb came third.
Tell us about the last section of the race there. How'd it go?
It went good. I was leading the race for a little bit. Then Vian passed me. When Vian passed me, I just went a little bit wide. I dropped down into fourth, and I fought my way back to third.
Now tell me, what are you going to do? What are you going to bring out on the last heat?
The last heat, I'm going to try my best, get a good start, and hopefully me and Vian can pull away from the pack.
How was it going? What positions changing?
Yeah, it was an interesting race. We had a red flag, and hopefully the person who had got injured is better. But yeah, it was a rough race. We ate up a position to the restart, and we finished second. But yeah, it's a bit much for us to compete with what's going on with engines and stuff.
Have you got some tactics you're going to bring out for the last
Yeah,
race?
hopefully I can get in front the next heat, so I can maybe just defend a bit and stuff like that, because to keep them at bay.
Tell us, the race was going fine until what happened?
So I was on the inside of Georgia, 586, and then we just came together. It's unlucky. It's racing, it happens. Well, my chassis was bent, so I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I managed to pull through and come fourth.
Good. And then what are you going to do for the? Will you be able to fix your kart for the final heat?
Hopefully, yes.
Okay. And what are your plans? So you're going to go out fast? You're going to just wait till the last 3 laps?
Yeah, I'll probably make my moves in the last few laps, trying to, get past Caleb and that.
And is this a track you know, or are you still getting to grips with it?
I raced at this track a few times. I raced the regional here last week. So, yeah, I think I know it pretty well.
Wow. I thought I could predict this one, but the final will be something else, Steve.
It's going to be interesting considering they had to restart heat number 2 as they head off. And it looks like Oliveira got the jump and managing to just get ahead, really trying to do everything. But that might be Urendal who's actually gotten ahead.
Yeah, correct. The impression that I was definitely able to start strong. Let's see if he's able to stretch his legs quickly into the race, not wasting any time whatsoever. Popball's really, wow, they're in a class of their own. Look at how much pace they're able to extract that little short section of the track.
And you can see how Oliveira in 4th place trying to get up onto the back of Swart. Swart's really pushing hard now, trying to do everything possible. Obviously shook off heat number 2 and decided now is the final time to make it happen as they fight their way around the circuit. And Boshoff, who's just trying to retake that 1st place, looking left and right. Urendal taking a look over his shoulder and keeping a long look over his shoulder there at Boshoff. So I wonder if he's getting a little bit concerned and just saying, hey, calm down. Let's follow this through. We haven't even completed a lap as yet.
Yep, there's definitely a long way to go. You want to be as patient as possible, especially if they got any word of the way the previous race went to the Micromax. It was literally down to the wire in terms of the lead. Race leader at the moment, Caleb Ordendal, saying, boys, we got all the time in the world. Let's just leave it to the end. Leave it to the last 4 laps, perhaps. Last 3 laps. We've got a very strong... Oh, down the inside goes Boshoff. Not wasting any time. Caleb Ordendal is going to be second. Oh, this looks very familiar. This is deja vu. Swart's back in the mix. He's definitely got the pace this time around. He's announcing it early on. Caleb Ordendal falling down the order so quickly. What is going on, Mr. Ordendal?
Shaken, not stirred, and now back in the race in 8th place, trying to move up. So definitely glad to see her back in, having a bit of fun. But you can see Oliveira trying everything possible to hold Ordendal at bay. And further down, you got Haystack and Wadley going and duking it out with each other as well. Wadley, who was a casualty in the previous race and managed to work his way up, now trying to get the final drive for the day and end on a high note as he goes after Haystack. Travels Mingay also as well, having a great bit of time, but further back.
Speaking of high notes, let's try and have a look and see what the times are like, what the engines are doing at the high notes of the rev range. I've got a 110.492 for Weir and Boshoff, 110.7 for Ken Swartz. Okay, so Boshoff is quite a way off, almost a clean second away from Ken Swartz, and 0.9 away from De Oliveira, who's not too bad in terms of pace. Wow, I would actually put my money on Boshoff at the moment. I mean, the way he's performing, he's putting on the kind of leadership position early on. Doesn't seem like someone who's ready to make those mistakes. I mean, look, we're at past half of the race already. If he's already putting these times, then I look forward to actually seeing him take a flag.
It ain't over until you cross that checkered flag, so no early celebrations. Wadley under some serious pressure from Travis. You can see Travis looking left and right, trying to figure out where is he going to get by. And then we've also got Haystack, who's also just trying to keep the composure. He knows he's got 2 very experienced drivers behind him that are looking to move up. And it's all about just keeping calm, keeping cool, and also just nailing those apexes and exit continuously. So any way you can do it. Wadley getting a great drive out of turn 1, and so does Travis, also getting a fantastic drive. So Haystack is having to really go on the defensive here.
Absolutely. You can't slumber. No sleep, no slumber for the next 2.5 or so, 1.5 laps. Actually, it is an 8 lapper. So he's got a lot of defending to do. And it's very close. If you know that the finish is looming, you're gonna have to make your card very wide and then place your wheels not an inch wrong, as you've got two very very hot contenders right behind you. The battle for the mid pack is actually a lot more spicy than what we've seen at the front, so to speak. Looking at a potential lead change here. If you look how closely matched that is Wadley and Minge are the moment. Oh, self-fulfilling prophecy, or wow.
No, Wadley actually took out Travis in that whole mistake.
Wow.
And it looks like Travis is beached.
Oh no.
Travis is beached. He's trying to get back onto the circuit.
There you go,
That's
nice,
a bit of a
bring it on.
change up. And now take a look at Swat getting aggressive and trying to work way through.
That is Leonard. That is actually Leonard.
Leonard's.
Yeah, like making a very good overtaking move there.
And that's Robertson that's having a good crack as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Leonard's not hanging back anymore and now moving up.
Wow, what a piece of action. You'd think oh my, I thought it was over. Beginning of the final lap. That's where everything sort of turned on its head. At least where the mid pack and the rest of the pack was concerned. But Boshoff, take a bow, Mr. Boshoff. From the beginning, he became the boss. He cemented his name at the top, at least where Heat 3 is concerned. I'm pretty sure his results are going to be quite impressive overall for the day. Man who is with Wesley Orr, multiple championships under Wesley Orr's belt, multiple champions that he's reared and built and mechanic for. There is a red flag, of course, because of the piece of action, the drama that we saw, but they will drive across the line under the red flag. The results will stand as they were before the last lap, even though it is a red flag. But as it stands, the unofficial results, Rian Boshoff being the boss in first place, Ken Swartz, Joaquin De Oliveira in third place, Caleb Ordendale, Eric Haystack following him fifth, Berlin Robinson in sixth, Georgia Leonard doing very well to recover and in good health, seventh, Joshua Smith eighth, ninth place, Sabelo Nduli, and 10th place wrapped up by Jordan Wadley.
Yeah, the race was good. I didn't get a good start coming in first, but my start was better, and then into the next corner I just overtook, and then I won.
Now we're off to your next meeting will be at Zwartkops. How do you enjoy that track?
I don't really know because I'm in a new team, a better team, but I think I'll just see how it goes and I just hope for the best.
All right, tell us about your last race. How did it go?
It went amazing. I had a very good start, and when we passed Caleb, I thought I'd just go through, and then from then I came second.
So how did it go for you?
It was a good race. We had quite a rough start, but we came back to finish third, and looking forward to the next national in Durban.